So how are you? How is everything going in the city hall?
Everything is just going fine. I passed my 100-day test, my 100-day mark, and I've been enjoying it very much.
You didn't have a time to celebrate it because of the school district.
Well, not only that, I had 3 weeks to go from being a member of Congress to mayor of the city. I didn't even have time to say goodbye to my friends in Congress.
Okay. Now we know you enjoy Korean food from time to time, dropping by Koreatown. I know that big restaurant that you had with family.
Gangnam. That's the restaurant I've been going to for over 30 years.
What's your favorite menu there?
Bulgogi and chicken. But you know what, though? I don't necessarily like to cook it at the table. They bring it to me, and spare ribs.
Have you ever tried at home?
No. I love kimchi also. Kimchi and bean sprouts.
Now, inside SAFE initiatives, a lot of strugglings, directive orders. Now, the Korean Americans are asking this question. You say 4,000 and more homeless out there. They are safe inside now. Now they're wondering, what if they get out in the street again from some point, say at the end of this summer?
So let me just say that there were over 4,000 people housed, but the majority of those people housed were not because of Inside Safe. It was because of housing that voters voted for with Proposition HHH. It just took a very long time for those units to come online. So the people that got that housing, that's permanent housing. Inside Safe was able to get 1,100 people off the street into motels. That is temporary housing. Now we're looking to move those people from motels to permanent housing.
Now, how do you make sure that they're not going to end up on the street again?
Well, you know what? No one has left. One of the things that I think we demonstrated with Inside Safe is that people don't want to be on the street.
Right.
If they have a choice, they leave the street. And when we've gone to encampments, we haven't had anybody leave and repopulate the streets.
Would they eventually be able to earn any type of money so they can pay their rent?
You know, many people who are in tents actually work full time. It's not that now, the majority of them don't. The majority of them, are unemployed, which is why they're on the street. But one of the things that we do when we put somebody in housing, we don't just leave them there. So we provide services. And even when they have permanent housing, I don't mean for the rest of their lives. The permanent housing is for about 2 years, which allows them to deal with whatever problems they had that led to them being unhoused.
So is the city still trying to purchase all those motels and hotels and
Yes, we do.
facilities out there?
Yes, we do want to purchase buildings. But because we recognize that this can be a problem for many, many years, where we're going to need to make sure that we have enough temporary housing so that no one needs to be on the street. That's the goal.
Now, beside homelessness, I know you're paying lots of attention to these different matters. If you could just name a couple of things that you want to pursue after this homelessness issue solved.
Well, it's not after. You have to learn how to do issues all at the same time. So public safety is also absolutely critical. The hiring of police officers, because we're down officers. And by the way, since your newspaper speaks to the Korean community, I would like to make an appeal for Koreans to apply to be police officers. There is a real big need for Asian police officers. There's not a lot. And so I'm hoping that people who read your paper, who will see this online, will consider joining the police department.
I see. Come to think of it, the policing and also Michael Moore. Now, the Korean American seniors are kind of worried going out still after this long pandemic.
Yes.
We're talking about Asian hate crime.
Right.
Have you ever discussed that with Michael Moore?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm very worried about Asian hate crime, too. And the reason why I am is because of what's going on in Congress right now, all of the focus on China. And you know, Asian hate is Asian hate. People don't say, well, you're Korean, so I'm not mad. People see an Asian and they get attacked. And so I'm really worried that the anti-China rhetoric coming out of Washington, D.C. is going to increase hate crimes against Asians. So I'm working to make sure that if there's any uptick or any incident, that it is dealt with very aggressively, very quickly.
What would you recommend to those Korean American seniors out there as advice?
Well, one, I would recommend that they know how to report a hate crime, and we can give you that information. That because what I worry about is that a lot of this goes unreported. That's what I worry about. That people are experiencing more problems than they're saying, and that the Korean American seniors understand that the city will respond very, very strongly. But obviously, we don't want it to happen in the first place.
Kevin DeLeon, I know it might be a little uncomfortable for you to talk about what is going on in the Horseshoe, but people are still saying that he needs to go. How do you solve this? How do you envision this matter?
Well, frankly, there's nothing that you ask that is going to be uncomfortable for me. So you're free to ask anything. Well, our charter right now does not allow for anything else to happen. In other words, the city council does not have the power to dismiss him. The mayor does not have the power, the city attorney. No one has the power to make him leave. There was citizens that were trying to recall him, but you probably saw that that recall failed. But Kevin DeLeon is up for re-election in just a few short months. So the voters have an opportunity to decide. Now, having said that, his district is still being served. I know I'm very active in the downtown area in regard to the homelessness issue, but he is still active in his district as well.
I see. Well, come to think of this city district, now City 10 is in deep trouble now. A lot of discussions. I know the city council president said that there's not going to be any elections.
Right.
Do you have personal?
I do. Well, I have an opinion about it, absolutely. And I don't think that the council district is in deep trouble. I think that the council president has appointed Heather Hutt. And I do not believe that there should be a special election because listen to this. The special election for Nury Martinez tomorrow costs $14 million. The election for his seat is in March. If there were a special election, it probably wouldn't take place until the fall of this year. So why would we spend $14 million for an election that really would just be 4 or 5 months away? Because you know, if we did a special election, you'd still have to do another election as well. So what I believe should happen is that the council president should appoint, well, he has appointed her now as a caretaker because they're on break. When they come back, he will appoint her again as a voting member of council. That's what I think should happen. I do not think the taxpayers should spend $14 million on a special election that would only last for about 4 months.
That is true, but then people are saying, has the city council president ever asked the constituents or voters out there in the city 10 to whether to consider the re-election or not? The voters out there should have a right to have their representative in the Horseshoe, right?
And they do. They do. The election is next March.
But she was appointed.
No, I know. But the only way for voters to weigh into that is a special election that would cost $14 million. So there is an election coming up in 1 year, and that's how it should be decided, which means if somebody wants to run for that seat, they should start running now.
2 weeks ago, the city council approved, as you remember, the mom and pop tenants assistance program. They're going to spend about $10 million. Um, does the city have any plan to modify it or improve it?
You're referring to mom and pop homeowners? I mean,
yes.
That have tenants?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that $10 million is enough. It's funny you asked because I was just talking about it like 15 minutes ago. We're going to look at that. I don't think that's enough money.
I see.
I think there should be more.
If we have to find some fundings for that, would it be HHH or?
No. You can't use HHH money. HHH money is strictly for building new buildings. So I just finished having a budget meeting, and I just finished asking my staff to find more money. Where that's going to come from, I can't tell you right now. I could answer it maybe in a few days because I just told them to find it.
Okay, we have to do a little bit of research there, right?
Right.
Now, we saw that you had a chance to talk to these nonprofit leaders from Korean community.
Nonprofit what? Leaders?
Nonprofit leaders from, say, KYCC or the Kiwa,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Do you have any plans to talk to Korean business members or any community members or regular?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not sure what meeting you're referring to, but there is a group that I have met with several times of Asian Pacific Islander leaders.
Right.
And KYCC and Kiwa was there.
That's the one.
Yeah, so that was a part of a broader meeting. And basically, I told them I will meet with them regularly. If the Korean American businesses would like to come together and meet with me, anytime.
Door is open.
Door is open every day. I also will make sure that we have not addressed our field program yet, but I will absolutely make sure that there is representation in the office as well. So, having said that, in the same way that I said, if your readers are interested in being police officers, please apply. If your readers are interested in working for the mayor's office, please apply. We have a lot of hiring to do, and they would be welcome. I would welcome representatives from the Korean community to apply. And you can go to the website. The other thing is that we have commissions. That's voluntary. If you want to be a commissioner, you have to live in the city of Los Angeles. Right. If you want to work for the mayor's office, you don't need to live in the city. You can live wherever. But I would encourage members of the community to apply. On the website, you can click commission, or you can click staff position.
That should be somebody like Gabby. That's going to be very competitive. Minimum wage, city-wise, I'm not even sure what's the minimum wage now.
I think it's $16. I think so.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Throughout your term, would there be any willingness that you want to raise it?
Yes.
Keep it that way?
Well, it's going to be a mix. First of all, let me just say that you cannot live on $16 an hour in Los Angeles.
You saw that with the district people. You saw that with the school district people.
Yes.
So you want to raise it?
Yes. No specific plans right now.
Okay.
I have no specific plans. What I do know is that you can't live in Los Angeles off of $16 an hour.
You got to go up.
Now, at the same time, we have to make sure that raising the minimum wage does not hurt small business owners who can't afford it. So there has to be some distinction.
Or would there be any due process that we have to do, any type of protocol that we have to go through to make sure that everybody's happy?
Yeah, well, there's no such thing as everybody's happy. But again, I don't have any current plans. What I do know is you can't live on $16 an hour, so something's got to give.
Now, every year data suggests that about 150,000 Californians are moving out of state. They go down Nevada, Arizona, Texas. we're talking people with the minimum wage.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons people can't live here anymore because it's too expensive. So $16 an hour might buy you a nice apartment and a car and all of that in someplace else, but not here. So we have to figure out how to make LA more affordable. And housing is the greatest expense, and we have to figure out how to reduce the cost of housing, and the best way to do that is the supply.
I see. Now, many of our readers are curious about the middle income family housing.
Right, that's
What's
right.
your picture? What do you envision?
Well, first of all, we have been told by the state that we need 500,000 units of housing, and that is at all levels. So it's not just about building housing for low-income people. It's about building housing for working people as well, and middle-class folks. It has to be everybody. It's just that the emergency is we can't have people living on the street.
Now, last but not least, after this 100 days of your inauguration, if you have anything to, I mean, you've been talking about LAPD application, City Hall, low income. What's your message to our readers, if you can give us a short message to our panel?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak to your readers. And I would just like to say, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I want you to know that the mayor's office is open and accessible to anyone and everyone. And if there is a desire for me to personally come to the community, whether it's a community meeting with neighbors or businesses or whatever, all you have to do is just invite me. And I would like to say to your readers again, please apply for jobs, please apply for commissions, please apply to be police officers. Thank you.